It's time.
Okay, it's time, Catherine. Okay,
Yes,
this is Harlan Community School District Board of Education regular meeting for July 2022. I guess we can go ahead and call the meeting to order since we do have a forum. We have Jade and Greg and Joni and Joe and Jim, so that makes 5 of 7. And so I guess we will miss Monty and Al tonight. So if, let's see, Jade, you'll have to keep me straight if I miss anything.
I'll sure try.
Parliamentary.
I'll sure try.
So we'll call the meeting to order, and it is a public forum, and so we welcome citizens. And did we have anyone call in this month?
No, sir.
No, we didn't. Okay, so we can move from ABC already to approve the agenda. Would anyone like to discuss the agenda? Or make a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I will second.
Okay. Next point here is D, discussion items, and we turn it over to the superintendent for now.
Well, it's quiet a little bit in the summer. There's a lot of stuff going on. Rooms are getting painted, floors are getting shined up. The play is going on. The community, yeah, we got to see little excerpts of it. It's really cool. I don't have a ton to talk about, and the principals aren't here tonight because there's not a lot going on in the schools. Just a couple things. Lunch will be charged again next year, so we just want to communicate that, and we will have prices out, and those, I think they've already actually been out.
Mhm.
So
On the website.
there's different costs for elementary, middle, and high school just because of the amount of food and the different, is that correct, Catherine?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Larger servings.
Larger servings.
So the federal government was subsidizing that
Yes.
previously?
Yes, they have been subsidizing it,
Okay.
and some districts in the state of Iowa will continue to get that. We do not qualify for that at this time. The parents that were here at our last meeting talked about the driver's permit, and I just wanted to I know I had told you in the board notes, but just that we have a process for that moving forward, so any 8th graders will park across the street at the, in the the primary side and walk across. And then we also have just a form for them to fill out that just says, in addition to the DOT, they also have to take driver's ed, just like everybody else does. And then just fill out a form as to what activities they're actually involved in. So I think that will be good. I did contact the Mrs. Nave who spoke the other night. I spoke with her husband, actually. She wasn't available, but just to say thank you for coming, bringing that to our attention. And I just wanted to show, I know that I shared last time the portrait of a graduate, just like the competencies, but I'll pass this around, and this is one of the visuals that has been shown, so it's kind of cool. And actually I think what they're going to do is switch these. They're going to switch these up here, so academically prepared student is over here by the diploma, kind of just semantics. But I don't have the new picture of it yet, but I will pass this around. But it is kind of cool, and if you look at it from behind, I don't know if you can see the watermark, but there's a cyclone in the way back.
Yep.
Can you see that? So just, and it's just a draft, but actually Jenny Sorfenden, who works in marketing at the hospital, had asked Mitchell Ruschenberg to help create it because he's really good at that and does that. So Mitchell created this and then took some feedback. So we're going to switch some things, but this is the first draft, and the committee has said they seem to like it. So that's that. And then finally, just we are ramping up on the facility upgrades and the bond issue. There is a town hall tonight in Westphalia at 6 o'clock for the first one to go out into the communities and just give informational meetings. So I will head there after this, and the Einesons and Bambi and Steve Einesen, and then Ann Hightop are just giving the informational presentation, and it's the same one that we've all seen, but we just want to make sure we're being transparent with everyone.
I talked to Steve briefly, and I think they plan on a pretty good crowd tonight, so. we'll see
Yes, that's
Good.
what.
How that works.
I was really happy to see the students
on the fair parade, handing out
Yes.
the little reminder, the
Yeah, the little
little
cards.
information.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There was a cute girl in there, looked just like her dad, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was that cute girl I missed her?
And she didn't look like her.
Yeah.
Oh, mom's side.
I just thought that was
Yeah.
a good
Yes.
PR.
The demographic is good. It gives the information that people want to know. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's a good one.
We can share it with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well put together.
That's the community committee has created that.
I
so.
see, sure.
All right. I think one more thing, just this week, parents will be receiving an email from me that just shows that we have a new website, which it's been up and running for about a month, but we've just been working out the little glitches. And then there's an app for your phone that is much easier to use than the previous app. So I will send all the directions out for that, and we'll definitely take feedback if people tell us something might be hard to use or what you want on there, we're happy to put on there.
Can we send out an email or something about lunches? If there's one thing over the course of my short few months on here, I've heard a lot about, it's lunches, some
Okay.
of which you've probably heard.
I don't have it.
The portion sizing, and then like what was actually offered. A lot of parents and students alike were not happy with that. But I had a couple people ask if lunches were gonna be free and yada yada, and you said it's on the website, but I haven't even seen it. So even if an email could go out that says,
Yeah.
it's not, I just don't want parents to be a bunch of shock that it's not free this year. And maybe it's somewhere else and I just haven't seen it, but
Did you see it, have you registered your children yet?
is that going now? I mean, yeah, I'm on
I'm
there.
gonna take that as a no.
I haven't got an email that said, we got an email from
This
them.
week, I don't think
Okay.
it's open.
Maybe we'll include it in yours.
I can put it on mine, and then we'll have it all together.
And when
send
you
one to
say-
parents?
I'm gonna send
Good.
one to parents with the website and the
Oh, you're
app.
going to,
Well,
not
yeah,
like
going
you
to.
do.
No, no.
I was gonna say, well, I don't get that either.
No,
so-
no, I was gonna send one and then we can just add the
Okay.
lunch stuff to that.
Yeah, that would be one thing
Yeah,
I get
so
told
I
a
would
lot
hate to-
about
okay.
is,
Portion size are regulated, just so you know.
yeah, I can
but-
share more about that later,
Yeah,
but
that would be great.
I think an email would be good. For me, going from not paying for 7 kids to then all of a sudden paying for other kids too, that can be a little shock for people if they didn't know it.
For sure. Okay, all right, we can add that.
And we put it in the newspaper, just so you know, we did.
Okay.
I
We
was
have.
gonna say, I saw it somewhere. but
Yeah.
don't-
I haven't yet,
It's been in the
but
newspaper,
Recall.
but I mean, the more communication about it,
maybe I
the
didn't peruse
better.
it well enough.
No, that's okay. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay. That's it. So-
Very good, okay, we'll move along here to key action items. And number 1 we have is the personnel report to discuss.
Sorry. That's okay. Here we go.
Okay, the personnel report. We just had some coach resignations, and a teacher associate. That was one we had from a while ago. We just finally got the resignation, so we knew about her resigning. We hired coaches, and we've hired 3 teacher associates so far. So that's kind of exciting. We've got some interviews scheduled. Okay. Classified coaching sponsorships. We're continuing to hire for teacher associates. Couple of coaches that you can see up there. We have a bus driver, an activity driver, and we have, I believe, 5 cooks that we're looking for. So if you know anyone that's looking for a job, help us get the word out there because we're really struggling. We've got some ideas to unconventional ideas, such as like the swap pages and things like that we're gonna post on, do a couple of Twitter posts, things like that. But I mean, even just kids that have graduated last year can certainly be paras if they're not going to college, or I'm sure I hear it everywhere. People are having a hard time finding positions, so we're just really struggling to find those too. And then for next year, we still have our STEM teacher we'll continue to look for. We have an offer pending on a SPED teacher and a 3rd grade teacher opening that we no different from last year, or last month. Those are all the same, so.
And the third grade teacher we did have hired, and then they were
Backed
moving
out.
from Texas and they backed out of their contract. So we did have it hired, so and we do have a backup plan if needed.
Any questions? Oops, you're supposed to, are you supposed to ask that? Sorry.
No, I think it's fine. Is backup plans pretty decent, you feel?
Teaching wise, on the certified side, we have backup plans. On the classified side, we're just short so many that it's just hard to fill. So we may be helping out ourselves, and that's just the way it is. That the paras, we are looking at students who would like to be teachers eventually and are in the education class. So with our new grant, they can get their para certificate paid for, and we can give them credit through Iowa Western for that. And as soon as, I mean, they can work for us, but you know, maybe half a day. If, for example, Joni and I had all the credits we needed and we were seniors and Joni could work in the afternoon and I could work in the morning, or we could figure something out, then at least we could help in that way. It gives them good experience as well. So that grant also allows us to up to $12 per hour to pay them. So it also gives us $12 per hour to pay the current paras who want to become teachers. So it's helpful, and their tuition.
Very good. Any other discussion? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the personnel report?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and those opposed, nay. Did I do that on the agenda? Do we have a vote
Yep.
on the agenda? Okay, good. Starting to worry about that. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah, okay, she would get me, okay.
I messed up already, Jim, sorry.
Next is action item E2, resolution approving revenue purpose statement, ordering an election on a revenue purpose statement to authorize expenditures from revenue received from state secure on advanced vision for education fund, and ordering the publication of a notice of election.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Can you repeat that?
That's why you get paid.
I think I've ran out of gas.
Yeah. So that just, every district has to do it every 10 years, and it just basically allows us to use the save or the sales tax dollars in the way that the district, I mean, there's still rules around it, but we get to decide that. The state doesn't get to tell us or use our money. So we've always passed it in the past, and this will be on the ballot with the bond issue at the same time. So, but we have to go through this process first, so this is just to get it on the ballot.
Very good. And last month we mentioned it, or did we do something about something similar to this? Or maybe that was for the bond issue for the
It might have, I think last month might have been the bond issue one,
Okay,
and then
for
this
the,
month is the revenue purpose
improvements.
statement.
Okay.
Yep.
I got it. Very good. Any discussion about that? Okay.
Just so you know, we need to
Uh-huh.
do roll call on this one
Okay.
for
very good.
reporting purposes.
Okay, should we go right to left or left to right?
Whichever you prefer.
Okay, switch it
Let's
up.
vote on it.
How do you say, Joni?
Larson, aye.
Hersberg, aye.
Blatt, aye.
Albertson, aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you have to do it?
Well, what about
I
you?
don't
Did we
believe so.
move and?
Oh, yeah, you
second
do.
that?
We did.
I do.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel, aye?
Do we have to move and second?
Okay.
Yes, Catherine?
Yes.
I'll make the motion as well.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Okay. Was that to be
Yeah, now
before?
we'll straighten you out, sir.
Okay.
I'm-
That was to be
Imagine
before.
being a DeLorean with a flux capacitor,
Okay.
traveling back and making the
Okay.
motion.
Okay. Who's seconding that?
I did,
Okay, thank
a
you.
long time
There
ago.
you go.
Yep.
Okay, we're on action item E. Let's see, now we're up to 3. This we've discussed the last couple of meetings, and it's the approval of the transportation sharing agreement between the Harlan Community School District and the Avoca AHSTW Community School District. And discussion on this.
We've already talked about it, and basically they will give us 20%, which is his 1 day, so. And he seems to be liking it so far, so I think it's going all right.
Does he feel like he's stretched?
Not quite yet, but we'll see as we move forward. They have someone that's good, and I think he and Jared get along really well, so I think they just work out. It's kind of another set of hands when Jared needs somebody up here too. It's win-win.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the transportation sharing agreement?
So,
You got it.
so moved.
You got it, and the second
Awesome.
is Jade. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Okay, next we have, if you haven't heard of a moo before, we have 3 moos.
3 what?
MOU, Memorandum of Understanding.
I learned a new acronym.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain what the
Sure.
next 3
So
motions are gonna be about?
the next 3 are they're all written exactly the same, except for one's to Western Governors University, one's to William Penn, and one's to Iowa Western Community College. And we just have to have memorandums of understanding with them because of the grant that we got that just says that they have basically kind of the limits that they can offer or charge through the district. And then the just kind of the rules. It's nothing big at all. It's just basically saying we're agreeing to using them in the way that they want us to use them, and they're agreeing to accept our students, I guess we would call them, which would be our paras. So we're part of 2 different grants. One's through AHSTW, and they have about 20 schools with them. And then we're part of one with Rural Schools of Iowa, which is through, if you see it anywhere else, it's Cherokee is the head district. And there's several in there. So we have 1 para on the AHST, 1 teacher, para to teacher slot, and then 1 student to para slot. So 1 of each on this one. And on the other one, we have 6. So we have 6 slots for paras to teachers and 6 slots for teachers. So it's very good. And actually, it's been helpful because each grant could partner with their own, and actually both of them partnered with Western Governors, which is more online, and William Penn, which will be online as well. And they offer different things you can, like some are math and science and elementary and special ed, and another one is only elementary, so it gives us bigger options. So that's why we did all 3. And then Iowa Western is the para certificate. So before you couldn't get credits for getting your para certificate, now you can.
Oh,
So we're excited about that.
yeah.
And I suspect they call it this memorandum because it's maybe a little less than a hard and fast contract. Is that
No
the idea?
contract, yes, it's less than a hard and fast contract. There's no money that we are being exchanged. It's just part of the grant so that we can receive our funding from the grant.
I was hoping to get a good question, Joe, but you fell into it.
Oh, yeah.
You answered all my questions.
And we just today are a registered apprenticeship with the Workforce Development of Iowa, because I went in and did that. That's another part of this grant, so. Very good.
And in the past, has the para thing been as helpful, or is this something that's new, helping the hiring situation?
It's new help in the hiring situation, for sure, yes. Mhm.
But incentivizing, it seems like,
Oh,
to
yeah,
help them.
yeah. And we have several paras that have an associate's degree already, or even a bachelor's degree already, so this just accelerates things and may not take 2 years. The other thing that they're looking at is that they may not need to take as many classes, so the money that's saved there, could we put that toward another para who might want to be a teacher? So, yeah, it's
Being
helpful.
creative to help the
Yeah.
teacher shortage.
absolutely.
Suppose we could find some para cooks or something.
Yeah.
That's a fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
we
might
need
be doing that soon.
Yeah.
Might be
Well, I
one
heard
member.
If you would like to volunteer, Jim, or we can pay you too. I mean,
Come on in.
I was gonna say,
We
I
have a
cook
limit.
at home for free. So. I know how to feed a crowd though.
You do.
Okay. So the first one we have is, let's see, make sure I get the right line here. This is number 4. This is the Harlan Teacher Para Registered Apprenticeship. So that's going to be on all 4 of them, but this is the Memorandum of Understanding with Western Governors University. So any particular discussion? We'll look for
Where's
a
that
motion
based
on
out
that.
of?
Utah.
Utah.
It will all be online. The key to this one too, Joni, is it is more competency based, so you don't just take a class for a whole semester. So you know, if the class says these 10 competencies, once you get through those, you can start the next one. So it kind of motivates you to go faster, or, you know, it's a different style.
Very good.
Can we combine them?
Probably
Motion.
not, I suspect, since they're
No,
listed
I'm
separately.
sorry.
Catherine will
Didn't think
probably
so.
throw the wrench at that one.
Throw the wrench.
Who would like to
I'll make a motion.
make the motion? We got it from Greg, a motion.
Second.
A second. This is for number 4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The next one is the same thing, Harlan Teacher Para Registered Apprenticeship Memorandum of Understanding. It says template for Iowa Western
Oops.
Community College.
That's
Do
all
we
right.
get template, take cross that out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yep. Understanding for Iowa Western Community College. Discussion? Can we have a motion on that, number 5?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
And those opposed? And the last one here for our moves is the Harlan Teacher Para Registered Apprenticeship Memorandum of Understanding for William Penn University, which is maybe Pennsylvania?
Nope, it's here in
Oh,
Iowa.
William Penn, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Something.
what town?
Dubuque,
What town?
Davenport?
Do you know?
Yeah,
Maybe out-
sounds like West.
I think I've ridden a bike past it. but I can't tell
I've
you what
driven
town
through it
is.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Tuscaloosa?
Here, I'll look it up.
Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, I think you're correct.
That sounds right, maybe.
Math
Thank you.
there.
I'm just,
I went to the academy with the guy that wrestled there at William Penn.
Well, cool. Okay, discussion on this, number 6. And would somebody like to make a motion to approve this memorandum of understanding?
so moved.
Jody moved, and
Second.
second by Joe. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Now we move to action item E7, which is the approval of the Iowa School Finance Information System membership. And do you want to speak to this a
Yeah,
little bit?
so 7 and 8 are just our memberships as a school district to ISFAS and then IASB. And I think just historically, they've always been on the board and they've been approved. So it's not past our limit to have them approved, but just to be transparent that we belong to them.
And,
So,
yeah, and we've always been encouraged
Oh,
to
and
join
ours.
because it's well worth the money to have
Oh,
them
yeah.
as
yeah,
backup, or not
Yes.
backup, but yeah,
yeah. And then-
advice and help.
Right. Number 9 is also, that's the Rural School Advocates of Iowa, and they're very good too. Any of those 3, if we would call on any given day, or which we probably call them at least a couple times a week between Brian, Catherine, and I, they're all very receptive and helpful. So, and ISB has services beyond, you know, what we might need daily.
Very good. Any other discussion on 7, the approval of the FIS? Somebody like to make that motion? If ISFIS, okay. We'll have to work on
So
that.
moved.
Tongue twister.
Okay,
I'll
Greg
second.
moved, and we have Jade seconding, Catherine.
Mhm.
You're keeping up there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 8, the approval of the
We need
IASB.
to
vote
vote,
on that.
we gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Okay, now we'll go to the approval of the IASB membership, $5,142.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Lastly, on this, the approval of these memberships is the approval of the RSAI, Rural School Advocates of Iowa, membership $750. Discussion. Somebody like to make the motion to approve that
So
expenditure?
moved.
So moved by
Second.
Jade and seconded by Greg. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Action item number E10, approval of purchase of a dough rounder.
This is the one I've been waiting for.
But you have, I have been waiting for it too. You guys, we make our buns by hand, and it takes a very, very long time to weigh them and round them. And so, one of the requests that Dee, our head cook in the high school, has been wanting for a couple of years is a dough rounder. Basically, you just put the dough down there and it weighs it, and you pull this lever and it makes perfect little round balls. So we can make the buns for the entire school in the time it takes, in a lot faster time. So we do have some money, a lot of money in our nutrition fund, and this is one thing that we think we could do. A, because it is a lot faster, and B, because we talked about our
Help
shortage.
with our cook shortage.
Yes, our staff shortage. So,
Two stones with one bird.
yep, otherwise,
Soften labor.
yeah, otherwise, we don't wanna give them frozen buns. We wanna give them these yummy, they love them. So, this is something that we went out to bid, and Wilson has the lowest bid for the exact same product, so.
Who does the comparing when we buy this? You?
Well, Ellen did this, but yes,
Oh, okay.
it would be, we send out emails to all of our vendors and then write it up.
Gotcha.
If it's a facility thing, Mike usually does it.
Yep.
So it just depends on who.
Or Jared.
Or Jared, if
Sure.
it's transportation, yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer if it's the exact same thing for less.
Very
Just
good.
never heard of a dough rounder.
Yeah.
You might have to come experiment on it.
Yeah,
Using Hy-Vee.
yes, come.
Never
Do they
remember
use them
that.
at Hy-Vee? I don't know.
Yeah, there's one at
There's-
Hy-Vee.
I feel like that's where she saw it,
Yeah.
or she used
Yeah.
it before.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, we want to keep them happy.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Would someone like to make a motion, Jade?
Absolutely. I would like to motion to approve the purchase of a dough rounder. Do I have to say from who? From
Wilson,
Wilson.
I will second that.
Very good, you spared me from
Making
saying
me
it.
hungry.
Yes. I'll get it out
You
there.
guys, you'll have to come in and have dough rounded
All
rolls,
those in
'cause they're
favor say aye.
delicious.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Number E11. Yes, it's the approval of the resolution for transfer of funds for athletic equipment.
You wanna talk about that?
You know what I mean?
What?
You know, or did you want me to?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, this is just,
Brian would like to explain.
Brian would like to explain this, but Brian's on vacation. So, this is just something that we have to do if we do get, reuse or have an extra, excess equipment. This is just our way of saying we have the flexibility to use it as we want, as we need to, for many different reasons.
Yeah, I think Brian said it's kind of procedural or just something.
It is very procedural, and there's we've sold equipment for $9,868, and he's wants to, most likely that will go back into the athletic department, but we just have to have your approval to do that.
Because didn't we talk last month about being okay with selling it?
Yes.
So now we're just taking what was sold and putting those funds
Back in.
Somewhere.
Mhm.
Oh,
Very good. Okay, can we
Most
have a
likely
motion?
back into the athletic department or into the athletic.
That's a Brian question. I
It shall be
Yeah.
transferred to the student activity fund to purchase
Yeah.
protective and safety equipment required for the extracurricular interscholastic athletic contest.
It is a captain question, and historically, now it's coming back to me, it's been used mostly for football helmets.
Oh, that's
to-
right.
To replenish
Yeah, did mention
the new helmets for safety.
And they'll make those cheap.
that. Right. They're important.
Yeah.
And could we have a motion to approve the resolution for the transfer of funds?
So moved.
Moved by Greg and
Second.
seconded by Joni. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Next, we have E12, the policy review schedule, second reading.
We didn't have any changes the first time, just so y'all know.
Would you repeat that, Catherine?
We didn't have any changes.
Okay.
The first reading.
Okay. Except we had to move the center of the paragraph. We left justify one paragraph.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I don't know if I did that, Jen.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
I can't, I don't know what that says. I'm gonna request it from you.
Any discussion on the second reading? Any concerns or discussion on it?
It's
Okay.
helpful to have these every month when we don't know what all the policies are. to read through
That's a
them.
good point. And does anybody remember, I know I was on that committee this month, or who else was on it actually?
This one?
Yeah,
The
Yeah,
first
I think
reading.
so.
And Greg.
yeah.
Oh, great.
I didn't read them really
This
close.
month,
Oh,
Okay.
this month.
This
No,
one.
I'm on this month, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
I'm
month.
on
Yes.
this.
Mhm.
Oh, you're on this one. Oh, you guys, oh.
Yeah.
I was
Should have
Back
been aware of
is-
that. Okay, if there's no discussion, would someone like to make the motion to approve the policy review schedule second reading for
So
those
moved.
paragraphs? And
I'll second.
by Jade. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Okay, next we have the policy review schedule, first reading. And I believe that starts with paragraph 406.04.
I did make a few changes in this one. These are the ones that we have to review annually. And I made a few changes to the Director of Nutrition Services title in there because it had Director of Wellness and Nutrition Services, and that's not the title anymore. Wellness is under someone else. So you'll see that in there probably.
Down here.
Is
Yeah.
that highlighted on there then? So I
green.
already saw it with the
Yep,
change.
Yep,
Okay.
in green,
Okay.
should be in green, so.
Yeah, some of this was a little bit interesting. I think it says the requirements for graduation.
Yeah.
So that, I suppose
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward.
I was just gonna ask
State.
about that.
Well, so the state requires what they call 4-3-3-3, so 4 years of English, 3 of math, 3 of science, 3 of social studies. And then it's kind of up to the district to how many total credits they would like. I do feel like before, like just last year,
Last
you
year it
guys
changed.
changed
Before
it,
I
you
was on
upped-
the board.
upped the credits.
Mhm.
It did get up.
And then our district has some other specific things, specific electives that have to be taken. PE also has to be taken for 4 years as well. But it's local control, I guess. Districts get to decide what you feel is best for your students.
Joni, maybe you know, what is the average amount, when you guys looked at it last time, what is the, maybe even in the Hawkeye 10, what do they say is the average to graduate with?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I remember it getting upped last year, but I was gonna ask you, portrait of a graduate just tailors, it doesn't change curriculum, or not, excuse me, not curriculum,
Credits.
Credits.
That's what I was wondering
Nope.
too.
Nope,
If
that all has to be board approved.
That's state and this is
Mhm.
just our
I mean,
earning.
what you want is to make sure that you're offering good credits to kids, and we offer quite a few college credits, which is really good. And then just making sure that we're challenging them enough to stay in school through their 12th grade year, you know.
Do you know what our graduating percentage is for class?
It was in the high 90s.
It's very high.
For way
I don't
under
know exactly what, I
state.
can get you that, Jade, but it's
Just curious.
it's higher than the state average, for sure.
I'm gonna guess it's high for seniors, but all other classes.
I could see that, yeah. I could see juniors and sophomores not making that.
Yes, it's very,
It's in the high, yeah, it's just saying it's in the high 90s.
it's above the state average.
And
You
they-
can find a lot of that stuff if you just go, if you Google Iowa State report card,
Okay.
And then you can go to Harlan and you can even look by school. You can see how many girls there are at the intermediate boys and kind of just the test scores and the average attendance and things like that. If you ever are,
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, Iowa State report card.
and you can look at anybody's, it's all public, so you can look at other districts too. You can compare it, or I can get you that for sure, but.
No,
if
I
you're
can
ever
look it
just-
up.
Yeah,
Once you start looking through it, it's addicting.
it's kind of interesting.
I think it's helpful to know some of those
Yeah.
things.
It's a good reference if somebody else.
Because I do remember it getting changed, just, I don't remember if my girls were seniors or something, it maybe affected it slightly, or they already had the credits. Because I think most of them, when they hit their senior year, are pretty
Usually
close,
do.
or they were,
Yes,
so.
usually they do.
And one of the points, one of the nice on the portrait of a graduate, they had the kind of a statistician or the number cruncher for area education come up, and they were comparing, they did it for probably a half hour or so, all the different school districts had different criteria, but it's basically how Harlan compared to the others, and really, that was, their point was Harlan's doing really pretty good, and we want to keep it, was their comment, just in general. So it's pretty nice to see somebody really crunch numbers.
Yeah.
I have some questions on the policy 707.6.
Which one?
That,
That is the finance.
yeah, that's one of those that I had talked to you earlier about. We weren't sure. It talks about the chair is selected by the audit committee, and I don't think we have an audit committee, so that would be kind of challenging to accomplish.
So that third bullet, well, not the bullet, but right above the bullets, the major responsibilities of the finance oop. Oh, the one above it. Oop. Oop. The finance committee chair is selected by the audit committee, right there, yep. We don't have an audit committee.
We're not sure how that should read. Honestly, I'd like to, what did you think? Talk to
Yeah, we were gonna
Brian
talk to
about that?
We
Brian.
can talk to Brian about that. Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to leave it like
Yep, yep.
that. This is just a point of interest for myself, the District Emergency Operations Plan. I would assume that's relatively confidential, correct?
We're working on that with emergency management from all over the city. So we had a meeting with, RJ was there, the Sheriff's Department, Emergency Management Planning, and High Top is really in charge of that. So, and we're part of a federal grant through Green Hills AEA that we got last year, before I was here. But it's all about school safety and things like that. So they are looking into having another meeting pretty soon here, I think within the next month or two. But, so everybody's on the same page. Roger Beeson was there, or the fire department person too. So, no, I mean, I think just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we all are talking the same language should, God forbid, anything happen, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the details of it are considered confidential, but the overview, I would like to at least look at the overview and see if there's anything that, what areas are covered and such, if that's possible.
Well, yeah,
Can you wait
yeah.
for the new one?
The
I mean,
new
it
one
should-
is coming
when
out,
is that?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, when is that?
Yeah,
It should be soon, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that Anne's.
that's what they're working on through the grant, and they're working through, and that's just getting everybody all on the same page is not an easy task. Not that it's hard to get people on the same page, but just everybody understanding each other's roles.
Is it like procedural too? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Like,
and you'd have like an incident command person.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Kind of then
Do
who takes
people
over the building after this happens? If we need to evacuate the building, where do we go? How does the reunification piece happen? So all of those
so
are being
procedures for
discussed.
different scenarios
Mhm.
and, okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, several years ago, they had a, I'm gonna say, some shooters come in and, worked through
Through the
it.
process.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as to how, as to how it is, they actually had the gunshots and they had,
Yeah, so part of this grant is to do tabletops, so to have people around the table and do tabletops and just kind of go from one thing to the next and what would you do then, what would you do then, and it just really truly helps you try to prepare as much as you can.
it's one of those things where need to have the knowledge, and like you said, you hope you never have to use that
Right,
knowledge.
But to have it.
Mhm.
I'm sure that we already have a current plan, Joe, but it's also
Yeah, I
getting
just-
revised, so we can,
I guess I feel like I didn't do my diligence if I didn't at least look through it and see if I notice anything out of the norm. I mean, an extra set of eyes never hurts.
yeah, we can ask.
Odds are it's a waste of my time.
Okay.
And the lunch program, I'm just curious, how is the price set on the lunch program?
There is a formula that the state provides us.
So you don't really have much wiggle room on what we do? We just crunch the numbers?
Kind of, but you, like this year, we're not increasing the prices from the last couple of years. It's a formula that they give us as a guideline. We don't have to increase if we don't feel like it's necessary, and we decided not to do it this year. Now, for the adult meals, like the teacher meals, it was mandated, that price is mandated, so.
Just didn't know how it worked.
So our adult meals are going up a little bit, which they're still very reasonable.
And that's all I have on the policy review.
I'll get back to you on the audit committee.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
That audit committee, is that different than the financial audit?
Well, that's why we wanted to talk to Brian to see if there's, we don't have a audit committee.
But we have that yearly,
I mean, we have a yearly audit,
right.
for sure. But we don't have like an audit committee comprised of this board.
Okay,
So that's why we were gonna ask.
Committee.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna ask Brian
Right.
if there is a group of,
you know, if it could be like financial / audit,
right, because we do have financial.
right.
Okay.
Very good. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the policy review schedule first reading?
Do we have to say pending that?
Nope, because I'll make the change
Oh,
and
and we'll read
then
it
we'll
again.
talk about it next.
Then I would love to make a motion.
I'll second that.
James made the motion, and we got Joe seconding. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. Now we are to action item E14, consent agenda. And so now we can take these together, the minutes and the accounts payable. And so we'll lay them on the table for discussion.
Yeah. There's the minutes. And then accounts payable. Did you have any questions on the minutes?
I looked at it and I texted Catherine. And I was like, so am I supposed to catch something here?
Yeah.
Or- Looks good to me.
Pretty much just every bill that's paid for the month. And
Yeah, a lot of them.
I glanced through it myself.
I read
Nothing
through
stood
them,
out.
Yeah.
but sometimes without Brian, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
I'm thankful
He
for
is
Brian.
very
meticulous
too. So I'm sure he will give us a call and a text to make sure we mail the checks tomorrow.
And he already put it on
I
our,
have it
on
on
our
my calendar and I have a sticky note. And now we're on TV saying it, so we can't forget.
I might come back to
Yeah,
that.
I might.
Okay, so we'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Greg and seconded
Second.
Jody. Good. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. And finally, we are to the adjournment, item H. Would someone like to make that motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Joe,
I'll say.
seconded by Jade.
I don't want people to read through it every time and
I
be like,
know.
man, Jade, it's always the one that motions to adjourn the meeting.
She's ready to go.
She's done.
Thank you all.